Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Bevo from Greenwood Grove, and you're watching another episode of UpRooted. And today we have Kimberly Brown, and we're just going to sit down with her for a little bit and talk about her company, KB Technology, and how she's surviving this whole coronavirus situation and how she's looking to grow towards the future. So, without any further ado, Kim, thank you very much for sitting down with me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. These are very fun to do, and they're a good way for me just to know who people are, kind of get a little insight into people I don't know.
Mhm.
Hopefully, introduce other people, even if they know you. Sometimes they don't. I find people don't always know what we do indefinitely, and especially the ones closest to us. Sometimes they have the hardest time telling other people what it is
That's right.
that we do and how to um, patronize our services. So, with that being the case, let's jump right in and introduce us to your company and tell us what it is that your company does.
Okay. So my company is KB Technology, and I kind of help small businesses become a little more, technology savvy. So review management is one thing that I help with. Another thing I help with is digital forms for businesses, and hopefully soon adding to the product line text, so mass texting. So hopefully in the next few weeks, I'll be releasing that because especially in these times, that is a very valuable resource to be able to mass text out your customers for a low price. So I this is what I do by trade. I do this professionally. So on a bigger scale, the company I work for does this for large companies.
Mhm.
My business is for smaller companies. So the price point, is much more suited for the smaller startup company, even smaller practices as physician offices, doctors' offices that are smaller that
Right,
may not be part of a big corporation. You have a lot of holistic doctors and things like that
right.
use services, churches use my services. So
Cool.
that's
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the whole text messaging marketing because that is something I was even thinking about down the road for my business. So we might have a conversation about what that actually looks like.
sounds good.
Um, I would imagine, especially from a small business standpoint, it is difficult to. Is it difficult to articulate to people
Yes.
how you're solving their problems?
It is
Okay.
because, especially in the Black community, I don't think we know what we don't know,
Right.
or we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
If, for instance, like with my review management system, we do it we do it every day when somebody says, oh hey, this I got this product, or oh go try this restaurant out. We go to Google and we look it up to
Right.
see how many stars did it get, what are people saying. We do it, but we don't understand the importance of our business having that as well. um, so that's the part that I try to get businesses to understand is, yeah, you need to be on Google, you need to have Facebook reviews. My system has over 100 different reviews from Yelp to Facebook to realestate.com, lawyer.com, depending on your industry. You can get reviews from all these different places from my system. So
That's awesome. So, speaking of not knowing what we don't know, I've had the same trials and tribulation starting my company out uh, intensely and very deeply knowing what my industry is, knowing how
mhm,
I operate in that industry, and knowing that everybody I know needs my services for
right.
one way, shape, or form. I just had a hard time articulating that to them, and it wasn't until I started finding out, what are the actual problems that I'm solving for
Right.
them, right? And what do those actually mean with regard because a lot of what you do, I would imagine, relies on a lot of data,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? And data collection, and then how to read that data and then after you read it, how to understand it and articulate it towards what it actually means to grow your company,
Right.
right?
Right.
So it's very interesting to me because I know these from working in in the industry. But what are other ways that you've come up with to help people along with identifying what their problem actually is with their business, to what your company is actually, what's in it for them,
Right.
and then what they walk away with?
Right. So first thing I do is when they come to me and they are looking just to be a little more out in the public, I see, okay, do you have a Google page? Because do you have a website? Those type of things. Because if you have a website but you're not on Google, what people don't understand is when people search for hairdressers in Largo or
Mm.
food kitchen in Clearwater, that is called SEO, search engine optimization,
Yes.
and Google reviews helps that. It
Yes.
helps you come up first or second. So the more reviews you get, people, whether you use my service or not, these are some things people need to know. You need to have at least 3 to 4 fresh reviews a month for your
Okay.
company,
Okay.
whether it's Facebook or Google. I keep going to Google because it's so intertwined with websites. It helps. You should definitely have that.
They've been
Another
working so long just implementing that strategy anyway. So Google's
Yes,
the first place to go. So understood.
exactly. That's
Understood.
the first place to go.
Yeah.
So you have to get fresh reviews, whether you're asking people to do it yourself or you're using my system that can be automated, and it's a professional system where, you're asking in a great way, and then you're asking once and then twice and then 3 times if they don't respond. And people, I think, don't realize just because you ask someone for a review, people literally want to review your business, but they forget. They're like, oh yeah, I'll do it later, and then 2 weeks pass and they forgot, and it's just human nature to forget.
Right.
So you know my system helps with that. So
Yeah.
that's the first thing I do is identify, are you even on Google? If you're not, I help you get set up. I help you get that information together. Then we get you set up with my system. Then next step is, are you digital yet? Are you still using paper, to take orders, or to I have check request system. I Everything you can think of that you would use a piece of paper for.
Yeah.
My forms system can do that as well for you.
Cool. So first step is you do an audit of their whole company,
Right.
right? And
Mhm.
that audit details where they are online,
Yes.
where information is flowing to and from. Does that take account their social media as well?
It does take account as their social media. Um, I don't do much with social media now. I used to, but it takes a lot of time
Yeah.
to do social media. So what I do offer is a promo video or something, that they can stick out there to help get their business going.
Absolutely. And then once you move out of that audit phase, then it's a onboarding process, I guess, right? It's, and
Yeah,
that's where they learn what you're actually, the things you're gonna do, the data you're gonna collect, and the systems you're gonna put in place, right?
that's right.
And
That's
then
right.
that third process, what are they doing? What are they understanding? What are they walking away with in that last part? What are they, what what what
Yeah,
is that?
so in the last part, it really just depends on what they decide to go with. My products are all sold separately, so they don't have to do like, oh, I bought this, but I don't really need this. So it
Right.
depends on what package they go with.
Okay.
If they go with just a forms package, then I take all their paper forms and I
Mm-hmm.
turn it into a digital process where they
Right.
have a database where they can look up everything. It's there forever. They're not losing paper. They're not trying to read people's handwriting. Um, and what I say to people all the time is because they're like, oh, well, I can use Survey Monkey, or I can do this, or I can do that.
Right.
It's not compliant. You
Mm-hmm.
do not want your customers' information to get out onto, a website. For little surveys and things like that, that's fine. But when you're talking about real data, people's addresses, phone numbers, sometimes credit card information, because I can take that and can do forms for that. you don't want that stuff. People applying for loans and
Yeah.
different things like that. You don't want that stuff to
Sure.
get my
Sure.
stuff is compliant, it's secure. No one can, get into it. So
So tell me how, because I'm always interested why people choose the paths that they choose. Um, so knowing a little bit, like you grew up here. I would imagine you went to
yep.
school. I'm just now finding out you went to school with my sister. So I'm like, okay, there's a thousand, a million different paths to have taken. Why tech? Why specifically online services?
So I actually started out in high school wanting to be a physical therapist. I went to Florida A&M University,
Okay.
so Rattlers, to be a physical therapist. My first 3 years at FAM, I went through all the courses to become a physical therapist, and then realized this is not what I want to do. It's just not what I want to do. So actually, in high school, my mom owned a computer training business.
Okay.
Advantage Training Systems. And I taught computer classes. I would teach Word, Excel, Access. I got all my certifications in high school, So, but I kept saying to myself, I'm never going to do this. I don't want to do this. My mom's making me teach these classes. I was teaching adults, as a high school student. And that's what I fell back on. After I decided I did not want to be a physical therapist, I was like, you know what? I'm really good at technology. I love it. So this is what I'm going to do. And so that's what I did. I got a degree in computer science. I ended up graduating, started working for Baycare Health Systems. Uh,
Okay.
and I was there for 14 years.
Wow.
Yep. And then about 3 years ago, ended up working with a friend with a startup company. And this is the startup company that he has grown into a bigger company now. That's what I branched off into, and now I'm doing the same exact thing, but for small businesses. He
Yeah.
does it for big corporations that pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for this stuff,
Gotcha.
that I'm offering to people for
Yeah.
a fraction of the price.
Right. I know. You do not have to explain that part to me because I know what it is like for a small business to uh, try to figure out where that pricing point should be
Right.
for other small businesses. So for sure, you are preaching to the choir on that one. Um, Tell me about, because my business and the way that I work with my clients is very much so, I'm pretty much in the relationship business,
Mhm.
right? And not the dating relationship, like, but building relationships with people and letting them know that whether they pay for my services or not,
Yep.
we can still establish some type of relationship together, right? So until you get to that point where you're just like, you know what, I can't do this by myself. I need your help. So how much of what you do really focuses and hones in on the people themselves and adding value, even where there isn't financial gain at that point?
Yeah, and that's really what I do focus on. I love teaching people just what you need.
Yeah,
Whether you use me or not, these are the things you need. This is what will help your company. If you decide to go and do it on your own, then that's fine with me. I really am not in this to make millions of dollars. Because obviously, if you see my price points, there's no way I'm going to make millions of dollars. I really just want to educate our community on the things other people already know and are already doing and taking advantage of.
yeah. How much of and this might be just a, I'm asking it as real as possible.
Mhm.
How much of what you're doing now, or the success you're having, or like pitfalls you may be having right now, how much of it is due to a messaging problem, you think?
Um, I would say, and I don't, it's hard to say because, like I said, the company that I helped my friend start, it's the same exact messaging I use in my company,
Yeah,
but other people get it.
right,
They get it and they're willing to pay for it.
right. So, and the only reason I ask, right, and this is not me grilling you at all, but the only reason I ask, right, because I'm interested in this one thing, because I come from a background where advertising. I'm a graphic designer by trade. I come from a marketing background. And when we walk into bigger companies,
Yes.
they're expecting you to talk the up here,
Right. Right.
college level
That's right. Right.
lingo. And then what I found, and it took me a long time to get over my ego in this. What I found with small businesses is you have to go to like elementary school
Right.
with the way that you talk to them, right?
You're
And
right.
and so I'm just like, how much of and I like to just find this out about a lot of small businesses,
Mhm.
anyways. Like, how much are you like? Is that problem you bringing you to the table and not the other companies that you worked for, right?
Right.
So,
Right. So yeah, yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. And most of my clients now, I have a very strong relationship with,
yeah,
and that's because a lot of time sat down, talked about it, met with them, showed them what they can do.
yeah,
Um, so I do think that yes, in the messaging and in a lot of my companies right now are insurance agencies, law firms.
yeah,
It's not the smaller, it's not the people I want to reach,
yeah,
who really, really need this.
right,
Um, so I definitely see what you're saying. What I'm saying, they probably just can't understand
right.
how it would help their business.
I definitely, after this phone call, I want to definitely. I just like to collaborate with people anyway, so we should definitely sit down and just throw ideas around. Um, so how what other ways have you in these times right now with COVID right now?
Mm-hmm.
You obviously have had to change your strategy a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and so what is that strategy? How has it changed? And then what is it looking like for you in 4 months by the end of the year, really?
Mm-hmm. So the biggest thing, I mean, that's changed, I feel like, is just the economy slowing down,
Mm,
period. So businesses that aren't in business right now, they're not feeling any extra, you know, I don't have any money to spend, even
right.
the $5 or $25, to because I only charge like $25 to create a full form with workflows and
Yeah.
all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? But they don't even have that at this point to do that. So that's one thing that has changed. Most of my business is online anyway. I've used Zoom for years. This is how I do my training. This is
Nice.
how I talk to, because some of my clients aren't here. They're in other states or in other cities. So almost all of my training is done this way. Um, from the first meeting to demos, I do demos when people want to see what I can do for them. So this piece is has been there and will stay there. I would say in the future, though, another piece that is hard for me is the marketing piece because I do have I won't say a non-compete with the other company, but I can't necessarily go out and try to market the same clients
Yeah.
because I am offering it at such
At-
a lower price.
right.
So
At the other job.
I can't go on Facebook because all my other clients are on Facebook who are paying, 5 times more than if
Yeah.
they see that, yeah,
Yeah.
not a good look.
But one thing I like to ask for forgiveness and not permission. I'm just that type of person.
Okay.
Uh, um, but then there is the concept of you, Kim, right? Which people will probably just buy into as a whole from the start, right? And building those relationships and coming from your perspective, and then pushing them towards your business, maybe I don't know a route to go. Um, so that's interesting. I'm just because I like when I talk to people a lot of the times I was the same way. It's like there's my business, and I'm just gonna push my business, and then I realize they're not paying for my business; they're paying for me to
Right.
come in and help them. Um,
That's right.
so moving towards the future and the economy slowing down, what what resources do you have now, or what or resources do you still do you think you need to sustain and then to keep pushing towards the future?
So I would say the resources I really need would just be um, that help to build relationships with people. Not necessarily a monetary resource. Yes, I have lost clients because of the economy, and that is a loss in monetary, but um, like I said, I'm not doing this to make a whole bunch of money. I'm not doing this to support myself. It really is just to help people, to get them to that next level. So that's why when you say resources, money is not my
Yeah.
thing.
And
There will
I mean resources
Yes,
however you define
people,
that. Yeah.
people resources is really what I need. I know Marilyn Turman has been really good about getting me out in front of people, to explain this. So I'm talking to the Catch program in a couple weeks for those new businesses
Hmm.
to kind of just see what I offer. And again, when I do my spiel, it's like, this is what I offer, but here's some things you can do for free,
Right.
to also
Right.
um, help your business. So really,
Yeah.
the resource I need would be people and just getting the word of mouth. Word.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, cool. Do you do that? How's that? What's your social media game looking like? Are you
And
prolific on
again,
social media?
I don't, and I am really relying on word of mouth now because of that
Okay.
non-compete of
Okay.
me not taking my clients from my other job. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So,
that
so
is why I say I heavily rely on word of mouth. So networking groups, I do networking groups. Black Boss with Melanie Washington.
yeah.
Uh, with her, we do a lot of stuff like that.
Okay.
So I'm really getting in front of people is really what all I can do, the
Right.
best I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I definitely see the compassion, and I see your determination to make it work. So I think that there's always I'm interested in having to sit down because I'm like, yeah, there's something in here we can work with.
Okay.
Um, where so you're not on social media a lot. You
Right. But I
have
do have a website.
you
I
have a
do.
website. Tell us your website, and then tell us any other things you would like for people to know about your business, your service, where to find you, and how you can help.
Okay. So my website is upgradeyourbusiness.com. So very easy, upgradeyourbusiness.com. And if you go there, it has all the information you need, but please feel free to, call me, message me on Facebook. I'm under Kimberly Brown on Facebook. Feel free to also ask for a demo. I have a demo on there. It's not a live demo, it's one that was pre recorded. But I'm more than happy to do live demos. I'm more than happy to do a Zoom meeting with somebody and say, hey, what do you need? What does your business look like today? Tell me, how do you do this?
Hmm.
And then I can kind of give them some steps. There's plenty of people I've coached who have not used, my products, but I've coached them, and they're doing better, for that. So uh, I literally am really just here as a resource. Um, I wish I didn't have to charge. The only reason I do
Yeah.
is my time is worth a little
Right.
something.
And you know what? Like um, there's people, and I don't like to interrupt, but there's people that I work with, and I was the same way. The same stuff came out of my mouth. I was like, you know what? Like, I just love this, and I'll do this for
Right,
free.
right,
And I did it for free, and then I had to explain to my landlord why I can't pay him. Right. So
right,
I
right,
can't do it for free. So I think, and especially from a small business standpoint, especially being black, and I can't even imagine. I was raised by a black woman, but I can't imagine being a black woman. The feeling like you have to continuously prove yourself,
right,
even through your dollar amount, right?
right.
And uh, I know it felt like I was about to wrap this whole thing up, but I'm really passionate about this part is self worth,
Yes,
right? And not feeling like, especially black people in general, not feeling like we have to be cheaper
right, right.
because of whatever.
You're right.
of skin we have, right? And it took a long time for me to get to that point too, right? It took a long time to be like, yeah, I can do this, and if I don't charge, then I can't really do the service for you anyway because in your case, you got to go to work all day, right? And then
Right.
you got to try to figure out how to do it on the side. So if you don't charge for it, like you may
Right.
have to get someone else to help you, but you can't do that because you haven't charged enough for it.
Right.
So and the people who have given me the most power and the most kind of authority over my self worth, self self with the F
Right.
worth has been women, right? And telling me that, hey, you know what? Like, you should just make money off of this. They've been business women in
Right.
corporate
Right.
society, but they're like, you need to make money off this. And $5 can turn to $10. That's fine, but how about $5,000 turning into $10,000? Right? That sounds even better. So I just want us to stop and get back on the foot with like, yeah, we got to charge for this, and we're gonna make money off
Right.
of this, but you're gonna make money off of it as well, and that's why we do this whole thing. So that is all I had to say about that. I
All
just wanted
right.
to make sure that we didn't get through that part, and I didn't mention that because we go through this a lot, right? And we kind of
Mhm.
put ourselves down when it comes to money. But to leave on a airy note, the work we're doing with Greenwood Grove is specifically to we're building, of course, building towards helping other organizations like your own, other small businesses, to get awareness around their causes,
Yes.
right? And what that means is being able to have resources that we can provide to people so that they
Mhm.
can pay for other resources like
Right.
getting SEO help and getting text messaging programs and systems put into place, right? So that's what we're building towards now. And this whole series is kind of focusing on that because I want to shine light on the work that we're doing so that we can continue helping out the businesses
Yeah.
that are actually showing up and going to work and still functioning every day. So
Yeah.
all these things kind of matter. And if we're not getting compensated for them, then, we just kind of go in the background and people
You're
forget.
right. I mean, because unfortunately, the tools I use, I have to pay for the tools I use to create stuff and do
Yep.
all that. So,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, I thank you again for sitting down with me,
Thank
and
you.
we'll process this probably. I want to probably have it up tomorrow,
Okay. Yeah.
so we didn't mess this up too bad. So we'll get it out tomorrow, and stay in contact offline because I think we can definitely have some conversations and figure out. And that's what I do when it comes to messaging and branding. I that's the part
Okay.
I'm interested in. So let's connect on that, and maybe I
Okay.
might
Perfect.
be of service for you
Yeah,
too.
because that seems to be the piece I'm missing. Right. Right there.
Yeah.
For
Well,
us. For us. Yeah.
cool. So yeah, we'll stay in touch, and I'm glad we met, and I'm glad I know a little bit more about you now.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
You too. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
All right now.
Bye bye.
Bye now.